It's a family stream. Please stop talking about hash.
It's hash brown.
Fine.
Hey, look! They can see us.
Yeah.
I put my baguette in the air sometime.
Baguettes. Baguette.
I got more back here.
We have like 106 over here on the chair, so it's all good.
Are these like the thunder sticks from esports?
Many shout outs to the tech crew here at Midwest Speedfest.
Yes.
Heck yes. Keeping this running so we can raise some awesome money for able gamers.
Yeah, I mean, $3,000. That's it.
That's huge. That's a really that's way up and above our previous record.
Yeah,
Which
congratulations
was
to
2048.
To the Midwest Speedfest crew.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to Gooby.
Yeah.
And also shoutouts to the bid incentive that's still going to the bid war to see if we save or we spare or kill the Nullsmith. And I believe it's fairly close, so you can definitely swing that vote. So please, by all means, it's a great cause to be able to have more people, those that may not be as able as many others, to be able to enjoy video games and join awesome communities like the Olympic Randomizer or the local, just the Midwest Speedfest crew, the Minnesota Twitch.
Well, so while we were getting set up, I did check the donation incentive for the Saver Kill the Nailsmith. It's $30 for kill, I believe, with nothing for spare. Do we want to save his life? I like saving lives.
I'm gonna say we'll put it towards whatever is lower at the moment.
Oh, that's right. We ourselves have a donation incentive for this.
Yes. And Lavan, what are you doing?
Sahasrabot, can we get open boots,
for every
please?
death.
$5 for every death on him, and then $1 for every bonk. During my practice run, I had 35 bonks. And I got
Can you
boots.
ask Sahasrabot for open boots now?
Not for this seed, no.
It's okay. You won't get boots until like Ganon's Tower. It'll be fine.
Oh, well then there you go.
Head boots.
Yeah, there's an open boots, a siege and open boots you can do on the Discord now. So you always start with boots.
Oh wow.
Well, so there's also like an option just to like roll a game with this random settings. Just like, yeah, we'll just play like roulette with the settings and...
Yeah.
All right. With that, we should actually be ready to go here.
Ah, sweet.
I'm
Haha.
going to transition over to the main scene in 3, 2...
A good evening.
Everybody's here. Oh.
A good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Link to the Past Randomizer Multi-World Co-op Showcase here at 2DCon and the Midwest Speedfest here in beautiful Minneapolis, Minnesota at the Hyatt Regency Hotel. I am Bungie to the Tree, and today I am joined by Velociraptor42. How are you doing?
I am doing great, and I can't wait for this incredible co-op experience to happen.
And to introduce our runners to my right here, and what be your left is the Synack. And on my left and your right is LavanFirestorm. And those of you who donated have forced Lavan to play on the Clifford sprite, while Synack, he's a cursor.
There's a mouse cursor on the screen. I don't like the fact that there's a mouse cursor on the screen.
Well, get used to it, because that's what he's going to be playing as for this entire run.
The mouse cursor is the best sprite. I'm so glad that you guys chose that. I didn't influence it at all.
Yeah.
Never.
All right, with that, are both of my runners ready?
I believe we are. Are we good to go?
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
All
Count us
right.
down.
If anyone else is out there, join me in with this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go! All right, and welcome. So here we are first here.
Oh, it gave us the power star again.
Oh, Moon Pearl.
All right, so there
First
is
chest Moon Pearl.
All right, so we've got ourselves a Moon Pearl start and nothing else. So give you a little background here. We are playing this game is being played co-op. Thanks to the work of a community member named Bonta, we are able to now shuffle items not only within your world, but in other players' worlds. So that's what we're going to play through here. So items that are picked up in Lavan's game could end up being for Synack. And we see Synack here is opening up with a pretty standard Houlihan setup here. Meanwhile, Lavan is heading towards the uncle to get 2 checks out of the way. And just a few jumps down into the water, and it'll displace his camera. And when he falls down that hole, he's going to end up in the infamous Chris Houlihan room. Given for a community, someone that won a Nintendo Power Contest to be put into this game. And you'll see it here as he's in there. Now, note that it's not one of the hint tiles there that only has past tournament runners on that tile.
Yes, there's been a lot of tournaments for the Link to Past Randomizer.
And you're going to see, so we see, you get to see Annie and Ajneb, 2018 and 2017. Meanwhile, we'll see Clifford heading into the escape sequence. Curious to see him making checks, but he's going to go ahead with that 8 bomb drum he picked up, decide to go through there. And there's our first sword of the game for LavanFirestorm, found in Link's house, which thankfully somebody remembered to go to after Houlihaning. It's really easy to forget after going through Houlihan sequence that you actually, if you hadn't been to Link's house, you need to turn around to actually get that item.
I would have remembered it.
Sure.
A likely story.
We're going to see the treble here on Synack's side, and we get just some sticks, nothing too major. Lavan making good use of that sword as we found the Bombos Medallion for Synack in Lavan's first room of the escape sequence. Meanwhile, good news is, unlike in games I played with Synack, he remembered to check Uncle, but this time for just $1.
$1.
I'd check that for $1.
Yeah.
Making our way through the escape sequence and through the Uncle Cave here, we'll find $20 for themselves. And after that, it looks like he's going to save and quit, as the only weapon he has right now is the Bombus Medallion, which, without a sword or magic, doesn't do you a whole lot. Lavan making the way in towards Zelda's cell. To give more of a background there, this is actually done through a Python Lua script that is able to communicate between these 2 games. There's a standalone version of the Entrance Randomizer, Entrance Randomizer standalone, which creates the generation of these games. The largest that I've ever seen was something I was a part of at SGDQ. We did 31 players all together in the same room playing the same Multiworld.
It was a lot of fun. I was there too.
It took just about 5 to 6 hours for some players to finish, so that wasn't necessarily the fault of the game. It's just some technical issues with some people's equipment.
Oh, don't worry. I spent the first hour that just troubleshooting people's setups. So.
I mean, the Multiworld was still fairly new at the time, back in June. Now, there's a pretty robust community of players continuing playing this now on the Link to Past Randomizer Discord and within their own small communities. And here comes one of the fun things of Multiworld is you can be interrupted at the most awkward of times. Like, Synack received an item and was not able to throw his bomb. So you have to play it. You have to keep some things in mind while you're playing Multiworld, perhaps asking people to slow down their checks as you're going through some rather rough sequences. As we see, there's $300 on the race game, and we're going to want to pick that up so we can check Zora eventually. Thankfully, it's for themselves. But making good use of that Houlihan start, they've already have enough money for King Zora. But they still haven't visited the bottle vendor up to the north because they're using the south to north route as they're making their way through the Lost Wood on Lavan's side. As we see, just $20 on the library, nothing to worry about there. And there is our second Moon Pearl hidden within the Thieves' Grotto.
That was yours?
Cool.
There it goes.
I already had mine.
Oh, cool.
I got both of them. They were
So
both
good
in
news
mine.
is nobody's going to be stuck waiting for that Moon Pearl. Now,
Thank goodness.
Now, there's one thing to keep in mind with playing Multiworld. You have to think of playing the game in a different manner than if you're just racing. If you're racing, you're looking to try to find the fastest way to get to the goal. And as we find our first lift upgrade from the Sick Kid on Synack's side. you have to think of more of like, okay, I've been given this. What does that give me access to? Kind of play the game more in spheres, because you're not only playing for yourself, you're playing for the other players you're playing with. It's cooperative. So if you leave, so say you get, oh, there's our first boots of the seat for going over to Lavan. It looked like there.
Nope.
That's Synack.
Those are
that
the
is?
bonk band here.
All right,
Yep.
so there we go. $1 for every bonk by Synack here. And so hopefully someone is keeping count, because I will not be able to.
The game keeps track of that.
Yeah,
We
we'll see
will.
the bonks at the end.
We will see our bonks at the end.
So one thing
You're
to keep
welcome.
one thing to keep in mind when you're playing a multi-world, so you have to think, okay, I've now been given access to this, and this. That's where the game may expect me to now then find items that kind of progress the other players with you. So saying gaining access to Dark World and then going off and doing a bunch of things on one side, but forgetting the Village of Outcasts may leave somebody's glove in the brewery for 2.5 hours.
Well, we just got a lantern on Lavan's side there, so
And there we've got ourselves our first hook shot,
He didn't get me this time.
as well as a potion for Synack.
I tried.
Lavan is still looking for a bottle there, but at least with that hook shot, Synack, while not able to kill many enemies, is at least able to protect themselves. And there we've got some gloves there.
that's the first stage glove for both runners now.
One thing to keep in mind is if you find an item that is progressive, like a sword, gloves, it'll display when you pick, and if it's for someone else, it'll display it relative to what you have. That's why when he found one glove on one side but already had one, it displayed as the Titansmith's, despite the fact that it was only the other player's first glove.
And we got the blue mail for Synack there.
So it'll be nice and some more nice defenses when they inevitably bonk into more and more things.
It's okay. I've got red mail. I'm a red dog. I've got red mail.
There you
I
go.
don't know if it works that way.
Dang
Clifford
it.
the big red mail dog?
Yeah.
Yes. And here comes the rain of big 20s in the back of Blind's hut. More big 20s is making our way through Kakarika Village. Not a whole lot. We're getting each runner with 2 pieces of Dark World access. Curious to see where our first hammer comes to play, and there's something we don't really want to see. That's magic powder hanging out on the library ledge.
Oh boy.
Lavan is still lacking the boots, so when those come up, they may want to. The one thing to keep in mind is when you gain access to something,
Oh.
go back, and it looks like Lavan will have to go back through that race game because that's a bow.
That is a bow.
We don't need that. That's not
No, of
necessary.
course we don't.
That's not necessary for anything at all.
Well, we have not yet seen a map check for either of our runners to see where their crystals and pendants lie. Though this being multi-world, not always the most important thing because it's just going to put things where it wants to put things. And it's important to make sure that you are. The goal is not always to clear the fastest. It's to get to the end fastest. It's to get to all the checks fastest.
Wait, I thought this was a race.
It's only a race when I put you in BK mode, and
Yeah, it's a race to see how long can you torture the other soul. Or short. And we'll get more into BK there. And there we have just 3 crystals in the light world for Synack. And there we see 3 crystals in the light world for Lavan with the number 5 crystal on Eastern Palace. For those who are unaware, if you collect the 5 and 6 crystals, you gain access to the big red bomb to open up the crack where the Pyramid Fairy would be, where you would get the gold sword and silver arrows. In this, it's just 2 chests. And there we have Lavan dropping into the back of the escape sequence to pick up 3 chests inside.
Maybe 4. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, another bow. So both runners have their bows now.
All right, both
That's
runners.
big.
Yeah, both
what did you
runners have
send
their-
me? Oh, money. All right.
Yeah, so both runners have their bows. Both runners are able to clear Eastern Palace at this point, though it would be not by logic via Synack, as they lack the lamp to get through the dark room. The logic never expects you to navigate a room without the ability to see in the dark.
It's never
But we're
stopped me
gonna do it
before.
anyway. Yeah.
Though with at least one runner of high caliber, that won't be a problem. I'm sitting here in front of me.
I see how it is, Bungie.
That it does.
Told him to roast you.
I know.
I am all talk. You are something.
You're a thing that is there. Oh, bug
Yo.
catching that.
He does. not to discount the work that you do for the community, creating the bots and running some tournaments as well.
Oh, no. Oh, I get it.
All right, and there we're going to see a check of the mini Moldorm Cave there for Synack.
Should I save this for Mothula? Let's save it for Mothula, never mind.
Oh, the bee.
Yeah, that was a good bee, so we'll save that maybe for Moth down the road. Thankfully, they do have access to the hookshot, which is hard-coded to take care of these mini Moldorms in one shot, provided you can, hit them.
Provided you don't fall in the pit.
Yeah, that's important.
All right, and here's our first visit to Sahasrara on Lavan's side.
So we got 5 checks here for Synack. And they've been all pretty... oh, that's a good one. Ice Rod.
Nice.
Nice rod.
Yeah.
Hey, you might be able to...
And there's some questionable fungus on the side of Lavan as well.
Can you send me some boots? I'm jealous over there of that mouse cursor going fast.
It is indeed going fast. Now, Synack will have to be careful to dodge perhaps one of the most dangerous sections of the light
that's
world.
$1.
There's $1.
There's $1. All right, and here we go to make it past the crab army of the South Shore. These crabs do 2 hearts of damage on Greenmail, though he's on blue, thankfully, and he's got the hookshot to go ahead now. Should be actually able to check the stun prize here with that bomb drop as well, and that's full magic decanters. Nice, a really nice stun prize actually.
And Lavan going ahead and hitting Eastern Palace now since he has all the tools to full clear it. And has some flippers thanks to Synack.
Always make sure to check out Ice Rod Cave. So that's another thing to keep in mind for running if you're going to run a multi-world yourself, is to create, to make sure you're clearing through your early spheres, like some faraway checks like Agina's Cave or the Ice Rod Cave, which is currently locked on Synack's screen, though he's still going strong. Are locations you should definitely keep in mind, because that could be holding progression, especially if someone's looking for something that holds a lot of progression, like the hammer or a glove or a moon pearl early on. So Lavan is going to go ahead and clear further through Eastern Palace. We're going to see what is here in the map chest. And it's
There's
the map.
So that's 2 vanilla things?
Is this even randomized?
No, it's I got the compass already, so yeah.
So the map and compass both found. We are in, this is just a open mode seed, so no key sanity here. So we are going to find all their keys, maps, and compasses in their vanilla dungeons. We are working on it.
At least I think we are.
All right, and we're going to get a nice setup, a nice quick kill on the Stealthos room for LavanFirestorm.
Oh.
Perhaps one of the more impressive early tricks once you get it down.
And vanilla big key too.
So
No, that's
Turtle
not-
Rock is a
that's-
green pendant
That's
for me.
Okay.
And there we are with our first hint, unfortunately just a joke. Now, there's one thing, never mind. Should be going through the vanilla. All right, and then let us see what is here in the big chest. And there we have Synack's hammer. And with that, they've been given access to the Dark World. But it looks like Synack is going to stay committed to the Eastern Palace play, clear that out, and keep the early spheres in order.
But now at least he has a weapon that he can do some damage with.
Indeed, but that is the hammer after all. It has a questionable hitbox at best.
It's fine as long as you're not trying to hit anything above you.
Yeah, hammering up is an exercise in futility. Alright, making our way in towards the vanilla big key location for LavanFirestorm. Meanwhile, Synack just getting inside Eastern Palace. We'll see what is in this chest guarded by anti-fairies. It does not quite get the boost set up the normal way, but gets through, finding just a piece of heart. Has themselves down to 2 hearts for that Armos Knights fight, but shouldn't hopefully give them too much trouble. They will have to pick up some arrows along the way if they wanted to set up the quick kill, which if there's one thing that this game gives you, it's enough arrows to kill the Armos Knights.
This room has a couple, so it'll be all right.
And not only outright screams at you, maybe you should be using the bow, as there's, 25 arrows in the room before the boss.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Another piece of heart picked up there for Lavan.
There's the key.
And we're heading into the back. The lights come back on because reasons.
Yeah, it's not really cluing you in that you might need the bow and arrow or anything.
No.
No.
Like, look at all these arrow pickups. You might not need that at all.
Alright, making our way into the Stalfos room for Synack. He'll probably likely get that clean set up. Nothing there. Just gets it before another one spawns. And then here's I do enjoy getting the quick kills in this room, though the item kind of gets in your way at times.
Yeah. Nice.
Thanks, game.
Yeah.
A+ in.
As we get a hint about a thing that has already happened on Synack's side, that's one thing is that this there is hints that will help you find your way through the different for what happens on different player screen. And there's hammer number 2, and with that, both runners have access to the Dark World.
Interesting.
Which also means there's a lot of things that these two can do right pretty early here, only 15 minutes in.
Right.
So should I skip South Shore?
I probably wouldn't suggest it. But that's the thing. It's the matter. It's the balance of where does it send you? Because that's still in this first sphere, and neither runner has made their way over to that Desert Hermit. It looks like Lavan is going to go ahead heading in towards that Dark World portal. They do have the flipper things via the flippers to check as well. Synack finding a piece of heart, but it looks like Lavan is going to make our very first visit into the Dark World. Just 16 minutes in. That's really generous for a co-op. And there we go. Here we have the green pendant in Thieves Town, the blue pendant in Skull Woods, the red pendant in Swamp Palace, and the Ice Palace being the 6 crystal. So we've got their pedestal and...
By the way, thanks for reading that out.
5, 6.
Because that meant I didn't actually have to look at it.
If only you could hear the commentary all the time.
At least I got the key.
And that appears to have been a death taken by Synack.
It's a little harder with House
We've
Sword.
got a window that protruded into this
But
capture.
there's nothing in here, so I'll come back later. I found all 3 items already.
Alright, but then we'll have to go back for that crystal eventually. If they want to get to Ganon, that is.
Getting to Ganon's overrated, I think.
Hey, as long as you complete your goals before you get there.
You don't want to get called a numpty.
No, the numpty is on the Link's house hint after a certain race where Link's house was forgotten.
I thought that was on purpose.
I honestly, I'm forgetting what Ganon will call you if you do not finish your goals.
I thought it was a numpty.
No, that's the Link. That's the Link's house hint.
Okay.
All right, and there we found. I believe that was a key in the first chest. So we aren't bow locked. Meanwhile, Synack making their way into the Dark World via the Village of Outcasts. A few checks to be done here. Access to Skullwoods. We don't have the fire rod yet to get to the back, but you will see a lot of runners treating the first couple of the front side chests of Skullwoods as more overworld than they are the dungeon themselves. Making their way over with that hammer, making good work of that enemy as Lavan continues to clear through the Palace of Keys. I mean, the Palace of Darkness. There are some circles that are known to call this the Mullet Dungeon because it's keys or business in the front and the items, the party, in the back.
Yeah, nice.
But even so, with only one small key that looks like it's going to be orphaning the available key location, though if you're familiar with pod key logic, there's a pretty high chance that is just a key-for-key trade, depending on where the items shake out here. Making our way through that Bollock side, we're going to look at the hint tile and find out that race ROMs don't have spoiler logs.
Yes,
which,
they do.
Isn't always the case.
I can make it happen.
Well, there's also spoiler log racing where you are given 15 minutes to study the spoiler log and then you go through the race to see how fast you can really burn through a seed if you know where everything is. Lavan doing that annoying thing where you get a little bit ahead of yourself before killing that last of the mimics. Something I do almost constantly.
I haven't done that in a while.
And here we are into the Pinball Room, which is for now guaranteed to have a key. Though in version 31 and depending on your settings, that may not always be the case. Making our way through pods, still just a whole bunch of keys, but that's because there are 6 small keys in this dungeon. And here we go, go ahead and clear out these hard hat beetles. The red hard hat beetles seem to have way more health than they should. And a nice executed bomb jump across there to get to the big chest in the Skull Woods, only to find the shovel, so it's another early sphere check that they can find.
So you would say that Synack grabbed his shovel?
Yes, indeed.
That's a little Static X humor for you people who don't know.
Shout-outs to Wayne Static, rest in peace. All right, here we have on the right side of your screen the hammer yump being set up by Lavan. This is a double pixel perfect trick in order to gain access to the hammer without using a small key, and gets it off on the first try. Only to find, of course, the compass, because this game hates us. But we love it, I think. All right, and there we have in the just $20 on both for both runners, both of which going to Lavan.
Should probably check again at some point.
I know
We got
should probably
Synack's
check South Shore at some
blue
point.
boomerang.
the far inferior boomerang, if you ask me.
That's the best boomerang. We need the blue one. We don't need the red one.
The red one is a clutch, the crutch that I will die on, or not die on. God, that saved me as a kid, as I'm playing on Z SNES with a keyboard.
Who do you think you are, Alucard?
Those were dark times.
Uh-oh. All right, here's another $1.
And there we find even more keys there, because Pod. Perhaps he's just bonking on purpose at this point.
Yeah.
Bonk.
Able
Bonk.
Gamers is a good charity.
Indeed. Right, getting around these terror pins to find just $50 in the chest before. Now we enter the what is called the harmless hellway. So you just kind of walk around it, finding a piece of heart, and looks like they will be heading towards the Helmsor King in just a few moments. Meanwhile, clearing through Thieves' Town for Synack, nothing really of note, unfortunately, except for that death he just took.
I'm death warping.
It's a good thing you aren't donating for death.
You do remember it's not Key Sanity, right?
It's a pendant dungeon.
But there could definitely be something on Blind because it's Multiworld.
I'll come back to it.
In like an hour?
Probably.
Get your crowns ready, boys.
Yep.
Meanwhile, we're going to go ahead and continue down back towards the Helmsor King. Meanwhile, Synack on the left side is going to be making their way through the Village of Outcasts, checking through the brewery. Always making sure to go through your early dark world check so you don't leave somebody's gloves behind for 2.5 hours.
Or somebody's $20 behind.
Of course. Gotta have that money.
Such a long cutscene.
But at least you get to see what's happening on Lake Misery Meyer.
I think they're actually the same length.
They're actually all of those wall shaking cutscenes are indeed the same length.
Yo, Bungie, how many digs?
Let's see.
12.
So this is between 1 and 30 digs to get to the prize that Alec Baldwin is hidden in his field. Personally, I'm a 17 kind of person. Unfortunately, came in a little bit shorter than that. There's $20 in the digging game. Gonna have to leave Jeremiah the Bullfrog behind, but we're gonna go visit our old pal Stumpy.
Oh, this is not an optimal route.
Is there really an optimal route for Multiworld?
Yes.
It's doing your best to try to group as many things as you can together, but here we are into the Helmsor King fight for the Fawn. 17 strikes of the hammer will remove that mask, and then just a few arrows to the face. 8, I believe, will take him down, or no, a few hammer strikes. And how is Nintendo Power wrong? That is a viable strategy, especially if you play Randomizer and you find the Helmsor King in the less ideal of places. It does take 5 bombs to crack the mask off the Helmsor King.
Logic will expect you to do that too.
Indeed. All right, here we are into the cave formerly known as the Hype Cave. Let's see what we have inside. We have ourselves the Titan's Myth for Lavan. The Quake Medallion for Lavan. A bottle for Lavan. $20 for Lavan. And the lamp for Lavan.
Nope,
No, that's mine.
I already had the lamp.
That's mine.
Lamps for Synack.
And the lamp for Synack. So, those of you behind me, what would you rate that Hype Cave out of 10?
I'll wait for all these items to appear in my inventory. Okay,
How
that's
would you
all.
rate that hype cave, Raptor?
I probably wouldn't give it more than a 5 or 6. I mean, the lantern's good, but
It's
I guess
Titans-
they got the Titans Mint there.
no,
too,
the
so.
Titan Smiths are huge, as we
Yeah,
see
that
there.
is pretty
A
big.
green pendant on Turtle Rock, blue pendant on the Palace of Darkness, 5 and 6 in Swamp and Ice, and of course a red pendant Thieves Town.
Normally I don't track this, so so forgive me for being bad at that.
Oh, and to answer your question from the chat, yes, I am playing as Clifford the Big Red Dog.
So, by the way, there's a cool trick called Hammer Dash, but we can't do it right now because I'm lacking a sword.
Yeah, A Link to the Past was best described as a game that can't walk and breathe at the same time. So a lot of the most major glitches that we did in this game was simply provided or created by pressing 2 buttons at the same time. So you are able to what's called item dash, where you could drop hammer pegs through, just dash through hammer pegs, or shoot arrows in odd ways, or do what Synack did there, which is creates a super speed via using the hook shot and hitting dash at the same time while moving north or south on a manual staircase. One of the unfortunate thing is, if you do not have a sword, you can't actually make use of the hammer dash because the hitbox no longer exists. And here we finally have a South Shore check by Lavan. Going to go ahead and use a combination of sword and bomb strats, which can work out fairly well if, those minimal arms cooperate, which so far they have been. Meanwhile, Synack's on their way to Catfish.
We got Synack's sword finally.
Yay!
We've got ourselves a sword.
Da-na-na-na.
I can swing at things now.
It's dangerous to go alone.
Take that. Have at thee. Indeed. All right, making our way up to Catfish, and it looks like we're going to take a long walk to a cold cave for Lavan. And here's what one of our 2 grumpy fish is holding today. What will it be?
What is that? Oh.
It appears to be a piece of heart.
No, I was like the sword. I saw the sword.
Or a final piece of heart for Lavan to get a heart upgrade.
Do enjoy the health refill, as they will have to make their way past the crab army of the South Shore. Still at 9 hearts, so they'll be a little less worried about it. But they do take 2 hearts and knock the bomb out of their hands. Well, safe and quit for Synack. They're back to their, I guess they're going to Sanctuary, actually.
I'm bad.
And there
And
we
there's
have
our first fire rod.
Indeed. So who wants to go back to Skull Woods?
This is Ice Rod Cave, not Fire Rod Cave.
Oh, I never checked escape. I should probably do that.
That's one thing to always keep in mind. It's real easy to lose track of those early sphere checks, because once you have a weapon, escape is definitely a thing, as well as a glove there to get to the back.
I mean, Death Mountain seems really attractive right now, but probably should get the basics out of the way, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I went into pod without doing
just
South
looking at it,
Shore.
Raptor, just how many things are currently available to runners. Lavan is running through the flippers checks. Meanwhile, on this, while also having logical access to Death Mountain, but only on the one side, while Synack does have access to Paradox Cave with that hookshot in hand.
And Synack just picked up the book, so now he's got access to Desert Palace.
As well as, let's see, that's about all it's going to do for us right now. Actually, with the hammer and the hookshot, they are able to read the ether tablet, but they won't be able to pick it up until they have a second sword. Meanwhile, visit the hobo netted a whole lot of nothing. For Lavan, we're going to head on up to, it looks like towards the king of all scams himself, to see what is on for.
All right, can I just point out that Clifford's swimming animation is adorable.
It's the best.
Yeah, that is.
He doggy paddles.
That doggy paddle is outstanding, as we see 10 arrows on the Hylia Island. Making our way over to the Zora area. Gonna go see what is hanging out with the waterfall fairy. We no longer have to talk to the fairy to get the items. We just pick up 2 chests inside.
And this is exactly like the Pyramid Fairy as well. They just have 2 treasure chests sitting there.
But fun fact, if you have an empty bottle, you can actually talk to the walk up toward the water and receive a free random fill from the bottle that'll be the same every time you visit that particular ferry.
Oh, neat.
So you can get bees. So for that you can get fairies, bees, gold bees, or any of the 3 potions.
Bees?
Yes, not the bees. I think they're in my eyes. Meanwhile, a full heart container for the side of Synack, making the way through the escape sequence. Hopefully there hasn't been anything too big orphaned in here. And I want to give a large shout out to one of my friends in the community, Jack Truffy, when I say, there once was a fish named King Zora, who gives you flippers and vanilla. And Rando, he sucks. For $500, I came all this way for 3 bombs.
They're not even yours.
I know.
3 beautiful, large, artisanal bombs.
For Synack.
Yeah.
For somebody else.
I didn't even need them.
Alright, and there's $20 from that chest. One more small key. We're heading back towards Zelda's cell, where she's, I guess, not kept, because there she was on the other side. Or is Zelda shared between the worlds?
No, this isn't a link between worlds. This is a link to the past.
Well, why is it even called that?
I
Because
actually don't know.
Because it's a link to the past.
Where is the past?
Not now.
I blame Nintendo of America and bad translation. Alright, and there's the guaranteed big key there, and we find just $20. So that's the end of the escape sequence. Could have been something good, unfortunately the game had other ideas.
I almost forgot to do this. I'm glad I didn't jump in the
Yes,
back there.
that cold wind from Death Mountain made this kid sick. Show him a bundle and he will give him just 10 sticks.
He broke his
Well, you
bed
know,
apart.
you can light those on fire and you won't get cold.
He is the vampire hunter in the credits
Levon.
after all.
What?
Should I embarrass myself in Spec Croc?
Sure.
All right.
So there is one thing to note, that neither runner at this point has checked the Lumberjack Cave. One thing to keep in mind is that
I got it.
one could be in play. Oh, you did?
It was like $20.
All right, dashing our way through the old man to rescue him and go up to the top of Death Mountain. Meanwhile, Levon is making their way into the village of Outcasts for the first time. We'll check out the Sea House, the chess game, and go through Thieves Town by the looks of it. With that green pendant, it does create a much more attractive play than with Synack only having the red pendant being there, as they
Plus,
receive
there's
$50.
items in there.
Yeah.
You know,
So for
why
those-
would you orphan locations?
For those
You don't have to.
unfamiliar with the game, though, the green
come back
pendant,
to it.
The green pendant's worthwhile at times because Sahasrara will give you an item for bringing him the green pendant. So it could,
Similar to the vanilla game, if bringing it to him allows you to gain the Pegasus boots. And this time not to be the case. Making our way through the brewery, nothing to be seen there. We're seeing some spin speed setups by Synack. Well done. Going ahead.
Oh.
Look at that. There's some boots on Spectre Rock that we can't reach without a mirror. Actually, well, he can. He just has to take the long way. So it may be a while before he gets there.
No, we need mirror for those. This isn't-
Oh, that's right. You do need that mirror for
I
that.
mean, you don't need the mirror.
I mean,
all right.
I mean,
Should I bomb jump this or do it like the? Oh,
and look at that.
It's a cane of Samaria. Whose is it?
it's
It
mine.
is Synack's.
And there's, and for
Do
those
it.
of you who
Hover
are a
it.
fan, that's gonna be
Hover it.
Kane.
Hover it.
Hover it.
Hover it.
Don't send me anything then.
Okay.
All right.
All right, here we come.
All right.
If you're adverse to cheating, I would look away from the screen now.
Probably fix it up here.
Set up an item halfway through.
No!
Oh, so
Well, there's your item anyway. So.
all right. So for
I
those,
tried.
You
All
tried.
right, so for those of you that may have never seen that before, that is a trick called hovering. Now the game only the game takes two frames to actually check if you're above a hole or not. So you're able to wiggle your way across that by dashing and undashing in a very specific rhythm across the hole. If
So-
you
In my defense, I just learned how to do that yesterday. So
as
I
we
wasn't expecting to get it.
as we find Levon's ether medallion there.
Yes.
And the big key, which we had to find in the first of 4 checks so we can get to the back.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
that was the vanilla spot for the big key too.
indeed, Synack making the way over to the Paradox Cave because we're gonna drop down lower to get higher on the mountain. Because reasons.
Because logic.
This is going to be 7 checks for him too, which is going to be huge.
A very well programmed video game. And there we see a shield for Levon.
Which is an upgrade to the fire shield.
There was an important piece of progression there.
And he also found Levon's bug catching net.
Yes, the most important of all of the unique items, aside from that beautiful single arrow. All right, there we've got $300. The flippers for Levon, another sword.
That was actually Synack's flippers, but it still had the text on the screen.
And then we have another sword as well as something
sword.
that I cannot see.
Yeah, because it froze again. But now Levon has the Master Sword, which is going to be allowing him to do more damage and not have to hit things as many times.
All right, and there's a nice little bit of time save for Levon. Is with that hint, they'll know that the Ice Palace Big Chest only contains the key, so they don't have to worry about checking that big chest. Much more important thing when you're running a larger multi-world, especially if you're running Key Sanity, because that Ice Palace Big Key is kind of a suggestion aside from that big chest. Synack making their way over toward the Tower of Hera, and it looks like they're going to read the Ether Tablet to see if there's anything of importance inside. Note that you need the Master Sword at least to actually gain the item from the tablet. And today we will see just pocket change. Move along. So that's likely to be a single or 5 rupee drop.
I won't read too much into that.
I have a question for you folks back there. Why does it look like I have the butter sword?
Oh wow, that is weird.
That is not a bug I've seen before.
I know. I thought maybe one of you guys would have seen that before.
I've not seen that before.
That's never happened before.
There we go.
Bingo card. Check.
He probably wishes he had butter right now. At least tempered. Tempered's a nice sword.
I mean, these baguettes kind of smell like butter.
It's a secret to everybody.
They kind of do, yeah.
Yeah.
There's another bottle for you.
Baguette swords.
So we got another bottle for Levon there.
All right, making our way up the Tower of Hera. Going to take care of these hard-hat beetles. One of the more annoying enemies in the game. Go ahead and lift up this block that was probably intended to be something you wanted to pick up with only the Titansmiths, but, coding. Go ahead and visit the Maiden to see now if the small key does not turn up here with the Maiden's chest. The small key is actually hidden in the big chest, locking itself out. Blind cannot have the small key. The key logic, because the key logic is set up in such a way where even if you do the dumbest of things, you won't get key locked. Hopefully.
I think that you can. I've been locked in Ice Palace before for being stupid.
Yes. In that case, the game may expect you to have the Cane of Samaria.
The dongos, please.
And there's just the map there, so the final item will be on Blind. Meanwhile, Synack making their way up to the Moldorm, or more commonly called Trolldorm boss. Definitely a boss that shows the power of the arena at which a boss is fought. Whether this, if you're playing Randomizer, taking him out of his arena makes this relatively trivial. Especially if you find him in the Mafia Room where he just kind of can't do anything with a moving floor. But just 3 strikes of the hammer will take him down, but of course, you've got to fight the bigger boss, the Hammer Hitbox, and there we have a trick known as LSD Blind. I forgot to shout out my family, Jeb.
Oh, that reminds me, I've got some shout-outs of my own to do here. I would like to shout out my good friend Sakura Tsubasa. I'm wearing one of her pieces of merchandise as a shirt. Without her, I don't know how invested in this game I would be.
No, Sakura Tsubasa is she's a very prominent member of the ALTT PR community, and she's done a lot to really keep us organized and kind of promote Rando. So definitely, yeah, she's great.
And also, I am playing as Clifford the Big Red Dog, which is very entertaining because my streaming partner his Twitch handle is Clifford the Big Red Dog.
So shout outs to Clifford out there. Shout outs to really all the Link to the Past randomizer community. I mean, without people like you, this little display wouldn't be possible. I mean, and if you see this and you're curious about it, check out the link to the alttpr.com. Find the link to the Discord there. Find your own ROM. We can't provide it for you. The last thing we want is a Nintendo Death Squad showing up at our door.
They exist. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Would you guys want to talk about like the ROM that we use and whatnot and why we use it?
Oh, absolutely. So there is so the Link to the Past randomizer is based on the Japanese 1.0 version of the game. The reason for that is there are certain bugs that are exclusive to the Japanese 1.0 version. The hammer, the item dashing. I don't think Fake Flippers made it to the U.S. Correct?
No.
That's a 1.0 only.
Alright, so the fake flippering, which Synack could be doing if they didn't already own the flippers, as well as some other positive bugs, as well as some negative, like being able to take damage while you're falling down a hole. Now between 1 and 30 digs for Lavan will reveal an item for us via Alec Baldwin, as we find 10 arrows from the hobo. So it was some of those bugs are why the game is run off that ROM.
Digs for that one.
Getting close to my number.
16 digs for a bunch of rupees I don't want.
I mean, both of you are already overflowing in rupees, which is something it's fairly common when you get to the mid and late game of a multi-world. Is you're gonna be fairly loaded on cash.
Flush with cash.
Now that's what the also reason is a lot of the main vanilla speedrun, the no major glitches category is run on the Japanese 1.0 version of the ROM as well, which is kind of where the community got its start.
Yo.
As for some prominent NMG artists, we find the half magic there for Lavan. So it's with that Japanese 1.0 version of them, we then randomize the items to play out there. You generate the game through the alttpr.com, and you're able to play with others. Join the Discord. There's people racing these all the time, at all hours, because there's not only a prominent community within North America, but Germany, French-speaking countries. There's even some Australian runners I know. I mean, it's getting through a lot of it. And here's we get through.
Yo, you good on health?
As we find out that King Zora today will pay $500 for a piece of art.
Yeah, I'll go for it anyway.
Meanwhile, Lavan is taking Jeremiah there for a world tour of sorts.
So here we go for Hype Cave for him.
All right, so what kind of Hype Cave do we have for you? All right, today what have we got? From the Bat-like Man, we find a heart container for Synack.
A cape?
A heart container, a bottle with a fairy, and a mushroom.
So the cape was for Lavan, but it looked like a lot of the other stuff was for
Everything
Synack.
else was for Synack.
Yeah.
So what do we rate that Hype Cave?
Well, it depends on what mushroom spot. Well, that's TBD.
It depends on what the mushroom has.
2
in
with a
store.
bookmark for mushroom.
Yep.
And cape.
Oh, the cape was, yeah. The cape's
Cape.
pretty big.
Potentially, it does add some great safety for the Ganon fight in some other areas, and does give you access to the bumper ledge as well. Meanwhile, Synack making their way over towards Desert Palace now. Make sure to check the ledge to see the Ether Medallion hanging out there for himself.
Yep, and it will be his.
And here we have it now, 43 minutes in, and we're getting our very first check of that Sphere of Zero location, Agina's Cave.
I still haven't been there either. It's on the list. I'll get there eventually.
I'll tell you what, our boy Jeremiah getting the world tour here.
And going to be making their way up to Catfish here as well.
He wanted to see the world. He sits in that place all day, and then afterwards he just sits and makes swords.
But I mean, he is a dwarven blacksmith, so maybe that's just what he truly enjoys.
I thought he was a dwarven breadsmith.
He is a dwarven breadsmith. And you know what? So are we.
Yes. No, I think I'm the one who may qualify as a dwarf in this seat.
Yeah, I'm probably not really a dwarf.
Yeah, I don't think I am.
He's like a mid-elf.
Half giant, maybe.
Yes. All right, making our way into our first visit to Desert Palace as Lavan nears the Blacksmith, and likely to be the end of Jeremiah's world tour here. Picks up the bush instead of the rock. Where do you sit on the bush versus rock debate?
I throw whatever I feel like.
Alright, just go ahead and leave that piece of heart behind as we find the big key there for Desert Palace in the map chest. Go ahead and visit for the heal. As when you have a follower, Zelda no longer appears in that location. We see 10 sticks on the torch, and thanks, you're the hero of Hyrule. So fun fact, it'll actually inject whatever the first line of your file name is to be the hero of Hyrule. So it can prove some interesting, though it could be better if perhaps you can get more than four characters in that first line. But here we are finally going to be making our way over to taking Jeremiah home, which I'm sure he's been longing for after that long haul up to Catfish to find not a whole lot.
Welcome home, Jeremiah. Welcome home.
Just a piece of heart for Synack there, as we find 3 bombs there in the Vanilla Big Key location. Lavan's going to be making their way over, probably to see where they're going to head to next. In the meantime, Synack's going to be making their way back towards the... Wow, I've blanked on the name of the boss.
The rear
Do
end.
Landmo. It's a crystal.
Multiworld.
Yeah, let's just do it. We'll do the thing.
And Lavan with their Titans, that's going to head back into the Dark World here to see what else can be cleared of. They do have access to see what is on the bumper ledge and actually grab it, and I believe they have not yet made their visit to Skullwood, so that's what they're going to head to next. I'm going to head on down and pick up that Ether Medallion, potentially useful. We have not seen the entrances to Turtle Rock or Misery Meyer at this point.
And if you're unfamiliar with the randomizer, so in vanilla game, you use Ether to get into Misery Meyer, and you use Quake to get into Turtle Rock. But in this game, it could be randomized, and it could be the same for both of them.
Absolutely. And fun fact, the if you get 2-liter Bombos, it could actually be your key to 3 dungeons, as the logic could expect you to clear Ice Palace with the Bombos Medallion to kill the Freezors.
Which is A-okay in my book, because I actually like using Bombos on Cold Stare.
It will save you some magic, though. You will, if you don't have it, the Fire Rod is a handy weapon for doing damage to them as well. And finally making our way back to this Vanilla Big Key location to find, of course, the Big Key. Now, there are only 2 items hidden within Skullwoods that are unique that are not dungeon items. I'm just going to go ahead and take the Wallmaster ride back to the door.
That really long trip back to the door.
Yeah, I didn't want to push the statue out of the way anymore. I got lazy.
Pushing the statue is hard, man.
All right, 1, 2 strikes. All right, and then that's 2 landmos down, and then the other one is at a half HP now. Mulling about their strategies, and they're going to opt for a combination of sword spins, and arrow strikes.
And Lavan finds his Fire Rod.
Fire Rod in Skullwoods. Feels... man. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get a bomb jump across to pick up what is potentially in that big chest, if the setup works for him, as we find what is our second crystal of the map, third crystal overall, but second for Synack. I can't math or count at all. And there's the second item hidden within Skullwoods here. So now all that Lavan has to do is go back and fight Mothula. Goes ahead and takes the heal from the fairy, is going to head back to the back section and take care of Moth, as Synack can't decide where he's going.
Nope. Never.
Man, decisions are hard. I feel ya.
Yeah, there are only 3 options, and he picked the wrong one.
It's a 1 in 3 shot.
A 66% chance of failure.
So, let's go ahead and see what this mushroom is, but we'll hold on to it if we don't need it.
Oh, so Synack is... So Synack is going to be, with that Cadence Smart, setting up a trick that could be a potential trick called Fake Powder, where you're able to use the powder without actually owning it.
Correct, but you still obviously have to have the mushroom, which is why he will keep it if this item is not good.
So if whatever is in the witch's hut is not something of use, he will hard reset his game, allowing him to retain that mushroom because he will roll back to his previous save. And that's $50, so that's a hard reset. Now that is potentially dangerous if you don't have the best equipment, because that can cause potential issues with the Multiworld client if you don't set it up well. But I don't have any worries about that. As you see, LaVon just go ahead and making use of that medallion to just get those frickin' Gibdos out of the way.
I hate this room.
This room is terrible.
I don't
agree.
think anyone likes anything involving Gibdos. Let's get real here. And a nice fire rod shot to get that key from the Gibdo. I'm going to head into the next room. Meanwhile, Synack is going to go see what is buried in the flute spot. That's just $20.
$20, yay.
All right, so here we are into Modulus Pit.
Nice.
Go ahead and going to use a combination of sword spins and fire rod shots eventually here with half magic are able to make good use of them. One thing to note, if Mothula bounces off spikes, it actually negates the damage he takes, as he's coded to be immune to spike damage, one of the only bosses that is coded as such. Interestingly enough, the spike damage is coded the same as the gold sword, so in the vanilla game, Mothula doesn't actually take damage from the gold sword. The randomizer fixes this by temporarily downgrading your sword to tempered for now. There will be modes where that will not be the case in version 31. And there's our second pendant of the second pendant there for LaVon, as we gain access to we're getting ever closer to chat's favorite item, the pedestal.
Everybody loves
And
the
here we have a fake powder setup. So how that works is you use the Cane of Samaria with no magic, which causes an error message. Quick switch to the mushroom, spam Y, and it creates magic powder cast. Fun fact: you can actually use that trick when you actually own the powder to use it with no magic. And that could be useful for getting a health refill off of Anti-Fairy, because if you use magic powder on an Anti-Fairy, it turns into a real fairy.
So, LaVon, I think you're really wanting me to find my mirror right now.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, those boots would be very helpful. Without the mirror, we don't have access to them unless we do some shenanigans. Which, I mean, there's kind of the unwritten rule of Multiworld, at least in most in a casual setting, where it's no glitches until it's not.
So Bumper Cave for LaVon is just $20, so not really any point in going there.
Absolutely not. Meanwhile, Synack making their way over to the Dark World via the Village of Outcasts portal. Taking a look of what we're still seeking for this seed. We're looking for the cane for LaVon, the mirror for both runners, and the hookshot for LaVon.
And the flute.
And of course, the flute that we need to get to Misery Meyer. You know, Synack making their double dip of Thieves Town now. And LaVon is picking up that purple chest, going to save and quit with it to get back to where it needs to go just a little bit faster than walking.
I also can't get it there. I don't have a mirror.
That too.
I need to get Bunny Bean at some point. The bunny sprite for this. It's pretty good.
I mean, there was one just down one room from there.
So another fun fact for those, if you're wondering, if you've never played randomized Link to the Past and you're wondering, these runners are in the Dark World and they're saving and quitting and they're ending up back in the Light World. That's weird. Well, it's because they haven't fought and killed Aghanim yet.
And neither of them possess the mirror. You have to fight and kill Aghanim and own the mirror to actually end up on the pyramid.
Yep.
Otherwise, you could be potentially stuck in the Dark World.
Hey, Synack, I'm running out of checks.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, Synack, if you go to one of the pots just before the maiden is a bunny beam.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's I believe it's the right side pot before the maiden.
The seed's been
left side.
Left side? Okay.
The seed's been stingy with hints, at least for me.
Same.
It's the only hint we saw on is don't go to the Ice Palace Big Chest.
Yep.
In the same room that you're in, but on his game. Meanwhile, we're finally going to be getting that Agina's cave, Jack.
And again, taking a bomb to the face.
As a lot of runners may do as they get frustrated to find that they walked all that way for 10 sticks.
Yep.
So how much have you got left, Levon?
I've got Spectacle Rock, Old Man, Sahasrara, and the Mushroom.
So we're running pretty close to checks and running into a potential scenario. We'll see if we come to it, and then I'll explain it then. Meanwhile, Synack is making their way through there.
What did I forget this time?
You're doing it now.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that early Thieves Town, that pendant Thieves Town you chose to ignore. There's one thing when you're playing Multiworld is you'll have to kind of play it a little bit, like I said, playing this differently, not focusing crystals, but focusing checks. Focusing early the spheres that you gain access to. Levon's going to go ahead and see what is hiding, what is in Lumberjack Ledge, just to see. Was that $5?
Nope, 3 bombs.
3 bombs. It's difficult to see from this angle.
That's fair. 3 blueberries.
All right, and there's the maiden and $20 for Levon.
Yeah, blind doesn't have anything. But you know what? We'll at least turn it in. You gotta see the text.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, and then for those, so fun fact, there are a certain amount of different puns programmed in for blind, though we have customized this for this marathon. And we seem to have turned out the lights. I still have 170 more squats to do.
Oh, that's gonna be a long night.
You'll have to perhaps fill me in on the context there.
Is that a Final Fantasy VII?
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, there goes the script.
Now, for what he's mentioning, if you're not familiar with, blind seems like a totally random, crazy fight, but if you do the same things every time, he ends up running basically the same. And there's just a compass there. And a red
pendant. Clearly a useful investment in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But such is the natures of Multiworld, where you're going to do things that end up wasting time, because they definitely could have had things, especially if you're looking at early spheres. And there we see a sword there up on Spectacle Rock that we do not have access to yet.
I'm just gonna go.
Let's go ahead and dive into Spectacle Rock here.
Do it live.
Do it live.
All right.
All right, we'll see what the hint tile and item is within this cave.
Yeah, you gonna do the bomb jump?
I'm gonna try to do the bomb jump.
There are many setups for this bomb jump. As you see, the hint tile tells us that the green pendant is a heart piece. So that's one thing he has, one less thing he gets to do. And it
Just
looks
a little
like
bit in the tile. Yeah.
Nope.
not quite.
I went too
And
far
we've
down.
lost Synack again.
Yeah. I'll narrate what I'm doing. I'm running a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and use my hammer,
We're going to catch the fairies here.
lifting a rock, going into the dark world.
Thanks, Helix.
Yeah, thank you. By the way, shout out to the tech crew.
Absolutely. Getting this marathon up and running. And we've raised quite a bit of money for Able Gamers. Get your donations in yet, because we still have access to that donation incentive or that bid war if we are going to save or kill that nailsmith.
And I also have a Kirby I can throw at them.
Yeah, get your donations in so we can hit Synack or Levon with that Kirby doll.
Just don't hit me with any baguettes, please. They smell weird.
That they do.
Yes.
They smell like a baguette if you close your eyes and pretend.
And put way too much butter on it.
If you close your eyes and forget what a baguette actually smells like, yeah.
Man, this is going to be a somewhat expensive run.
Real quick, if I can offer an update on that bid war.
Go for it.
Kill the Nailsmith is winning $30 to 0. Still definitely within range, though.
Yeah, it's really easy to swing that vote around. So please get those donations in for a great cause.
By the way, shout outs to Bow Locked Pod. Fortunately, I got a bow.
All right, so Levon, how much is left for you?
I forgot I can go into Ice Palace, so I've got Ice Palace as well.
So I have. So if I didn't have the bow, I wouldn't be able to actually do anything besides that first chest. So Yeah, there's that. Fortunately, I got bow.
And that was a lot.
Purple chest leads to a blue rupee. That's useful.
That's going to be a nice little bit of time save there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a... Wow, all right, actually a decent hint.
I've got
After
two
once,
of them
though,
now.
I've been sitting around. There's not a whole lot to do. How about you, Raptor?
Yeah. Me too.
It's kind of... could you guys find us something to do?
Yeah. You got an item for me?
Hopefully.
Baguettes are not really items.
We're gonna
They're
activate-
just
I
kinda
mean,
floppy.
it's the butter sword, right?
Yes. All right, for those of you that are just kind of staring at, there may be a few of us that are staring at us confused here and curious about our crowns. There is so the Multiworld started in in the Celebration of the Ocarina of Time randomizer. And there was a rather large one of these done, where at one point one of the runners, whose name unfortunately eludes me,
Spike Vegeta.
It was actually Spike Vegeta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Right, so Spike Vegeta was so there can become a point where you are out of things to do until another player finds an item that gives you access to more checks. Like if Lavan didn't have Titan's Mitts, that would be he'd be just about out. So what happened in this particular run is they got tired of waiting for so long, they actually decided to get in and leave for Burger King to get something to eat. Ever since then, the getting stuck with nothing else to do has been called, in most circles, BK mode. So if you ever hear someone talking about being stuck in BK mode for 2.5 hours because somebody forgot to check the brewery, or or there was someone waiting in pod without a key because somebody didn't check Uncle,
I'm offended.
You should be.
You are right.
or you should check Uncle, Synack. Or
So
check Paradox Cave.
I checked Uncle this game. There's another $1.
Good
So what you're
job.
saying is you resemble that remark?
Yes.
All right.
I second that emotion. And making good use there of that medallion to go ahead and clear out those pen gators, rough and tumble enemies that they are.
Yo.
Hey, that's helpful.
Nice.
And that will actually help the routing here within Ice Palace quite a bit. Especially, will prevent them from having to do some rather rough bomb jumps to make it through, depending on how the keys fall within this dungeon.
Wrong item.
And I don't know if that's effective.
I have a sword upgrade.
Da-da-da-da.
Master sword for Synack. That's pretty good pickup there.
Yes, Master Sword. Or
What's
Master
that?
Baguette.
Oh, Master Baguette. Yes.
All right.
Alright, go ahead and takes the Death Warp
But you know
out.
what?
Oh, no.
But somebody forgot they had a fairy!
But you know what? Link is left-handed, so
Oh, yes.
Shoutouts to that death animation, though. It's pretty dope.
It's blue
Do I have another fairy?
it's a miniature
all right,
blue
all right.
screen. I love it.
Yes. Shoutouts to the sprite devs out there. There are quite a few. I mean, I don't even know the count of sprites that are currently available, but it's quite large, and it will be growing with the release of version 31, which I hear is coming relatively soon. I mean, if you keep a look at the sprite dev in there, I think just today I saw a piranha plant sprite being brought up for testing. And there we have a first try Ice Palace bomb jump for Lavan. That's definitely one of the tricks that you want to learn early on if you want to start running this game, especially competitively, because it allows you to skip the puzzle of Ice Palace.
All right, so Helma has an item.
And shoutouts to the Hookshot for killing pen gators.
And so something about... Wait, what? I didn't push anything. It just like went down. I think it's that bug.
Sorry, making sure there wasn't anything more than you just
That can
pushing
happen.
the wrong input, pushing the wrong buttons.
I didn't push the wrong button.
A shield can be found in Swamp Palace.
By the
Isn't
way-
that awesome?
Oh, baby.
I just want to say that like routing this dungeon without a mirror kind of is annoying.
That's why I hammer jumped.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hammer Yump is good for the routings. Lavan will have to be careful. They are getting low on health, and I do believe they use their fairy.
I have two more, thank you. very
Oh,
much.
that's right.
I have
When
a
you failed
nickname-
that bomb jump, you threw some fairies with that bug net.
I did. I have a nickname in the randomizer community. It is well earned. My nickname is LavanFirestorm because I played in a tournament about a year ago, and in one game, I believe I fairy revived 13 times.
Oof.
Tournament race.
That's quite a considerable time loss.
Yeah. I
But
didn't
but
win
not
that
as
race.
but not as big as a time loss of actually dying.
It's true.
Actually dying is a lot worse. But with
Did your
that,
screen freeze again? Oh.
no, he was just in the cutscene, and because of the way the capture works, it doesn't actually show the vibration frames. That's the interesting thing with captures on these old console. For those who are curious, Synack is playing on emulator while
No, Levon's playing.
Levon's playing on emulator, and Synack is playing on a console via the SD2 SNES.
Yep. I'm playing on an actual console. My computer's actually connected to this game via USB cable to my laptop that I have right here.
So I guess that's one thing I neglected to go over. There are many ways to actually play the Multiworld. You can play it via an emulator. That's an unfortunate
It's an unfortunate
grab by the
fairy
Freezors.
revival.
Oh my god, he turns into a
Uh-huh.
dog bowl with a bone.
Yep.
I love it. Mm-hmm. This is probably now my new favorite
It's
sprite.
the best sprite. Plagued One does very good work.
Yes, they do. I mean, there's a lot of good things coming through the sprite community. Now, to go back to my point, there are many ways to play this multi-world client. You can do it with a version of SNES 9X, and then a program called Q USB to SNES links it to. That program can also be used to play with a Super Nintendo Classic, which is what I use, or it can be used through a flash card called the USB to SNES.
Oh.
Or the SD to SNES, excuse me. With that, and there's
Yes,
another sword for Levon. They're untempered. The Bacon Sword, as it's also called, as we find another pendant for Synack. So there are many ways to play this. So if you want to play on original hardware, that's definitely possible. If you want to play with a SNES Classic, absolutely possible with the Hookshot hack, as well as the USB to SNES. And of course, on emulator, if you just want to go for the least expensive route. So I do suggest you at least pick up a controller. There are some high-level runners that do play with a keyboard, and I question just how.
And their sanity? I mean, what?
I mean, one of those people plays Super Metroid with a keyboard.
Yeah.
Like,
Shout out to Alu.
Although that's not the first time I've heard that. There was in the Mega Man X community a runner by the name of God. Now I'm losing the name. Crap. Sorry, I forgot the name. But it used to had a top time, if not world record, with a keyboard in Mega Man X 1 or 2.
Which is
At
pretty
the time.
impressive. As
Yeah.
Levon's going to go ahead and make use of that.
Oh, his name was Hetfield. That's it.
One of those less checked items. And here is the worst location in the game. Shoutouts to Spike Cave. I hope you cease to exist someday.
Spike Cave will always have a piercing presence in our hearts.
Yes. And always progression when it's the worst.
No,
And he just...
that was I made a mistake.
Yeah,
That was bad. Let's try that again.
you had an item that
Yeah.
kept you from taking damage, and you even had it equipped.
And then you didn't use it.
Yeah.
You didn't use it.
I tried.
Yeah.
I was pushing Y.
Why? Why?
All right. Meanwhile, Levon dropping into their battle with Cold Stare. It takes 8 shots with the fire rod to crack the shell. With the Tempered Sword, we'll be able to set them up in the corner to do quite a bit of damage. Unfortunately, getting away from them a little bit earlier than I would like to. Going ahead and setting up some spins here with the Tempered Sword to do a bit more damage. There's 1, there's 2. One last puff remains. That's the end of Cold Stare. Well-executed fight by Levon to find half magic
No,
for
it's quarter
Synack.
magic. That said quarter magic.
Fortunately, that it always shows relative to yourself. Quarter magic, while in the game code, was never actually used. Though you can find it on easy mode. Levon, how much have you left?
Oh, I've got a hook shot now.
Oh, yes. With that hookshot, does give them access to the east side of Death Mountain in Light and Dark World, so we finally get to see what one of our pendants could be required now. And with that, we finally get through Spike Cave to find the magic mirror for Lavon.
Hey,
Oh, that's nice.
I'm at a place where that's
It actually gave it to Synack, which is interesting.
No, that was mine.
No, what's
I
that?
heard the
It just showed up
sound.
text.
Hey, can I have some boots?
Oh, so with that magic mirror, that does give us
What do you think I'm gonna
access
do now?
to those boots hitting up that have been sitting up for Spectacle Rock for quite some time now. That
am I
text
going
really
this way?
debating me there.
What the text you saw was him finally getting the half magic.
Yes, that's the
I forgot
debate.
where I was going because somebody told me I had a mirror.
Yeah, well, it's that the text is debating.
Yeah, it took him a while to actually get that half magic from you.
Have you ever? So tell me, have either of you ever commentated a Multiworld?
Nope.
Nope.
So be quiet.
Take me.
Sit down.
There you go.
Oh wait, you're already sitting down. All right, and there's some boots for Lavon. It's time to go fast.
And bonk.
Good thing I'm not donating per bonk.
No, he's donating. So is it per actual death or per fairy revival?
I'll do 5 per death, and I'll throw $1 in for every fairy revival because I got so many bottles.
So now we got 7 checks for Lavon here in Paradox Cave. So we got Synack's powder.
And
And
their
we
own
got
blue mail.
Synack's, yeah, his own blue mail. Or was
Synack's on red mail already.
Yep.
So now time for everybody's favorite dungeon, the full clear.
Yeah, we're heading
Swamp
into.
Palace.
We'll be making our way to Swamp Palace. Where's your mirror portal there, Synack?
It's somewhere up here.
Uh-huh.
I got excited.
And there we have it. That's gotta be Kane.
Yes. And Bombos.
There, and that's probably the last time I will say that out of respect for the ones who want the memes to be dead. Shoutouts to memes for not being dead.
So it's a shame that that Bombos wasn't around before. So Bombos will actually crack Cold Stare's shell in one shot.
And it only costs the same amount of magic as 2 fire rod shots, as opposed to taking 8 shots to clear it. Though Lavon did have half magic at the time, so it only was used up half their magic meter. Gets that bomb jump on the second try, and now we're heading in to drain the dam and head towards Swamp Palace for Synack. Meanwhile, Lavon making the way to the top of the mountain. You know, I had a thought. Synack,
Yep.
did you check Spiral Cave?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
So Synack did a thing that might be worth bringing up. So in areas where the mirror won't teleport you or take you back to the beginning of a dungeon or anything, if you use the mirror while pushing a block, it will just make the block disappear.
I do believe that's a 1.0 exclusive. Correct me on that if I'm
think
wrong.
So that one I'm not sure on.
Oh, the sword can be found in pod.
Oh boy!
Man, no, at least we've gotten one ace level hint.
By the way, what sword level are you on?
Master,
Okay, maybe I'll get that sword.
Yeah.
I'd feel good with at least tempered.
The shovel can be found in Turtle Rock. Great.
That's a place to have your shovel.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Shadow. We still don't have yet to see silver arrows from either of our runners yet. There's a pretty high chance that we will find them, as we are playing Multiworld, and we're probably going to check and clear most of the game. There are lots of checks here for Synack to be found through this rather slow dungeon that is Swamp Palace. Meanwhile, Lavon making their way up towards Moldorm after checking the big chest and the compass chest.
I think I'm a flute and mitts away from go mode.
I am a flute and just a flute.
All right.
And red mail for Lavon there.
So, for those unfamiliar with the term Go Mode is given to the time when you no longer have to make checks, where you already have all the things you need. Now all you need, all the items you need. Now all you have to do is finish the dungeons. Now going over, Lavon is only looking for the flute. Meanwhile, Synack needs the Titan's Mitts and the flute to gain access to the last dungeons that they need.
Oh, I also need either a mirror or a book.
That was a silly $1 expenditure right there.
And of course, yes, Lavon will need a mirror or book to gain access to that Crystal Desert Palace. And And there's a nice two-shot of the Moldorm by LaVon. One swipe and one spin will take care of that. Just a heart container
No, that's for me.
and a key.
Yeah, but I've already got 2 items.
Yeah, so it's interesting in these randos when you get to fight a early boss with a later sword, and it just demolishes. Like LaVon took out Moldorm in 2 shots with the
And,
tempered
and
sword.
playing that and fighting that with a fighter sword is just miserable.
Yeah. I mean, even when Synack did that with the hammer, that's even better than having to use the fighter sword.
So the hammer does the same amount of damage as the tempered sword, though you're not able to spin attack with it. Meanwhile, it's a long walk through Spiral Cave for LaVon. Just 2 flutes and a Titan's Mitts between us and Go Mode. Well, the question is, how deeply buried are those 3 items?
We could get unlucky and Quake could still be required for me.
And I suppose that is
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, you have all your medallions.
Yeah, I've got all mine.
Yeah, we won't know until I get mitts. Which of those? Uh-oh.
Probably one of the worst items to be lacking in a multi-world because of just how much of the world it potentially locks. As that blocks your access to the dark side of Death Mountain, your access to Turtle Rock, and many other things. And of course the Meyer area as well.
Let's not die in Swamp
Wait,
Palace.
why am I going this way? I remember where I'm going.
Because it's a paradox.
I know.
It's a pair of what?
Paradox.
It's a pair of ducks.
Quack, 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 quack. And we have yet to see any ducks in this siege, as we're still looking for those flutes.
We need our ducks. So would you say that Synack and LaVon might just need to get their ducks in a row?
Just potentially.
Just a little bit.
Wow.
Hey,
Oh, come on.
look, it's
that's actually kind of a unique one. Like
I don't think I've heard that one before, but
in that context.
I come loaded with only the most superior of puns, I'm telling you.
At least you're providing something here.
I mean, it's true.
I am the worst.
Wait, Bungie, you were supposed to
You're roasting the wrong
you're
person.
supposed to roast Synack. Red.
Yeah. Why am I
So
I'm
LaVon,
going
what am I
off
paying you to
half-cocked.
do here?
so, so LaVon having to open Turtle Rock with Ether, as you just saw, rather than Quake.
A fun little addition. That does not get the Ether Dash, though.
All right.
Fun fact that you can actually item dash on those, as Synack does Synack things and dies.
It's a really good thing you aren't going for death.
I think we had our donation incentives backwards here.
Oh no, like I'm still balking. Don't get me wrong.
But you're not dying nearly as much as you should be.
And we have Synack's cape found now, which not as big a deal since he already had the cane to burn us.
Somebody get those. Get the good folks in crowd control on the phone.
I still haven't checked.
A lot of things.
Yeah, bumper ledge. Yep.
But here we on into
Thanks.
the Hookshot Cave for LaVon. There are 4 checks inside. Now, fun fact, you can actually, the logic could expect you to bonk down to this chest you see here.
Yep.
Because that is considered a logically required trick, because the only way to get to the refill room on the Ganon's Tower Ascent is by boots bonking, so it is considered a developer-intended trick. Unfortunately, nothing of note to be seen here, and it looks like they're going to go ahead and disregard that sword up there that one of the runner that Synack may have wanted.
I wish I could go get that sword up there.
But
That
of
would
course,
be
there's a
nice.
mirror that we're lacking. But here we are into Turtle Rock here for LaVon, or as some may call it, the Mario Dungeon, as we fight Pokies and fly through pipes.
All right, sword.
And the best boomerang.
Take it.
Alright, so Synack did find his tempered sword.
All right, so with that, the one thing that's a good thing to note is the game only requires Master Sword to complete, but the upgrade between Master and Tempered Sword damage-wise, that damage increase is the only one that is larger is between the regular and silver arrows. It's going to reduce the amount of swings you need to take care of Ganon and pretty much every other boss in the game quite considerably. And here we are, one of the more obnoxious rooms in the game because you have to swim out those things, and you can't do anything to those water tektites.
Can't use either on them.
Ether kills them.
That's about all you can do as Lavan goes ahead and makes use of that hookshot to get out of the room a little more quickly as possible. Meanwhile, we have an Argus fight on the left side of your screen. We have ourselves a tempered sword, so no slideshows to be seen today, as we get just a bunch of keys for Lavan. All right, and here we are. Gonna go ahead and it looks like we're gonna set up for the quick kill on Argus. Unfortunately, getting in there a little bit too close.
Go for the 0 cycle?
Unfortunately, it was not to be.
I should practice that first before trying it.
Oh, okay.
I'm still completely clueless on it, so don't feel the worst.
If I have to go there, I'll give it a shot.
Alright.
So, do we have any donations? No? Okay. I wasn't really paying attention to what the initial plan was.
So if you're back there, or perhaps sitting behind us, or watching us home, I mean, get some more in here for this really great cause here, Able Gamers, that they help create controllers for those with disabilities to be able to enjoy games like Link to the Past Randomizer you're seeing right here, or many of the other great games you saw speedrun here today. And don't forget that after this run, we have the Hollow Knight 100% run by Mickley. We still have a bid war going for if we get to save or kill the Nailsmith, which is still sitting on $30 for kill and nothing on save. So please, let's save that Nailsmith.
Or, you know, you can donate
Hit the buddy
more
sprite.
to make sure kill happens.
Yes, you couldn't do that, but these aren't animals we're talking about. We're talking about a one who does great works of art with crafting nails.
I mean, he's a bug.
They're all bugs. That's the point of the Hollow.
The problem is though that killing the animals isn't canon, but everybody wants to do it anyway. So why not we just kill the Nailsmith too?
Because killing the Nailsmith is canon?
Oh, okay. So if we're only doing things that aren't canon, I guess we still have to kill it because I don't care. I'm being antagonistic today.
Today? All right, making our way through here. Did I miss a pedestal check?
No, I haven't looked yet.
Okay.
It's not. I can't do it right now anyway. So it's my green pendant's Turtle Rock.
Oh boy, isn't that fun?
I mean, like, it's only fun if I don't have to go in there.
I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it bounced off of the wall. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that is odd.
It's it must be like a. No, what's that unfortunate scenario there is he was not, without the access to the magic mirror, no access to that
Mimic room, yeah.
mimic cave, and if that's one of our flutes, oof.
I think there's a flute on my
Yo,
library.
somebody silvers.
Or that was a powder.
You want silvers?
Oh, there are silvers on Bumper Cave, so that cave was good after all.
And there's there's a shovel as foretold in legend.
Yes.
All right, and go ahead and making their way over to pick up those silver arrows, which will help take care of the Ganon fight as well as the Vitreous that both runners will have to face.
Whose silvers are they? They are Lavan's silvers.
Shoutouts to the Argentum skewers. All right, and Lavan making the way over to the laser bridge here in just a moment.
Yeah.
With that cape, the cape leading to silvers at least comes into something. All right, and we're getting some laser skips here for Lavan. There's the small key that we had to find here. Unfortunately, getting gibbed by that laser.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a fairy left? Okay, you're good. But going ahead and peeling out that magic cape, though, won't save you from falling in the pit. And there's our first of two flutes.
There we go.
Unfortunately, on its own, not unlocking much for Lavan.
Unlocks.
Or not as much as we wanted to, I suppose.
I mean, Meyer.
I can't
Yeah,
brain.
Meyer's open.
Yeah, Meyer's required for you today. Right?
I was thinking of Synack having it where he actually he lacks the mitts.
Ah.
Because I can't brain.
How are we looking on time, by the way? Just out of
It's
curiosity.
at an hour 23.
Oh yeah.
So we're an hour away from our estimate here, and
We're not in go mode until Pyramid Fairy sings, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
all right, and heading into the King's Tomb where you normally find the Magic Cape, just 3 bombs there. Going ahead and we're going to head into Trinax with just 2.5 hearts and some fairies to back us up with that Tempered Sword, setting up for a relatively quick fight. Pulling out that Ice Rod first because the Fire Head comes out first, despite the fact that you'd rather take care of the Ice Head because the Ice Floor is annoying. Making good use to switch to the Fire Rod because during explosions, you cannot actually access your menu during an explosion. Unfortunately, it was not quick enough to prevent that Ice Floor from flying, but down goes the Fire Head. Now we're into Phase 2.
And cool little fact here is before the body starts lighting up to where you hit it, you can actually hit the head for damage. And so he'll just do that to get a couple quick hits and then kill it right there.
Nice quick fight by Lavan there.
So I'm technically, I think, in BK. Maybe. Yeah, I still have some crystals I can clear, but I know that they're not items.
So you just want.
Is it is that BK then? Like I can still do
have things
crystals.
to do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm bestowing upon you it anyway.
Nobody goes that way because there's nothing that way.
All right, and with that, we're going to go ahead into Kakarika Village and activate our flute and head toward the Meyer area.
Wait, where am I going?
Crazy.
Where are you going, Synack?
Yeah, where am I going?
I don't know. Where are you? Where are you?
Where are
Are you just doing bonks on purpose now? Just
Yeah, I guess. All right, here. You can thank me, Charity.
I've never actually... Where are you?
Yeah, where did I go?
You're like,
I think
Yeah,
you
no,
go
I can't go
down.
that way. Oh my God.
Hey, you found yourselves. And now all rise for a playing of our national Swag Duck Anthem. And with that, the duck is amok, the goose is loose, and we're heading on to the Misery Mire area.
07.
Get your 07s in chat.
get your 07s. So it is 6 time.
Time to flute to 6. I'm going to see what is in the Misery area, and we'll see what medallion which they already own. We'll get them into Turtle Rock,
So we have
or
two.
Misery Mire.
We have 2 checks at the West Cave, which will
There's
be hitting first.
the Meyer Shed, as it's called in the spoiler logs, as well as we'll probably, unfortunately, we will not be able to gain access to the Checkerboard Cave, as they're still lacking that mirror.
There's
There you
Synax Mitts and Synax Silvers, so those are some really big finds.
It's a good thing I didn't forget to do that.
What were those?
Meyer Shed.
Meyer shed.
Oh,
All right,
that is very.
So with that, we can definitely remove BK mode there for Synax.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
The world is now your oyster.
The world is now a lot of checks to do with time quickly running out for Lavan to avoid the tortures of BK.
I've got this, and I've got Pyramid Fairy.
And
Yeah. Stream is back up. Okay.
The timer's even still running. Wow.
Let's get back to work.
All right.
Yeah. What's the timer going?
Somebody count us down, and
No,
we'll.
we can just go.
Just
All
go.
3, 2, 1, go, Team Shake!
Just go.
All right, here we are into the Mothula fight for Synack here, and making good use of that gold bees.
Not the bees. They're in my eyes.
Or he's pieced out. He's done.
Rip headphone users. I apologize on the behalf of those guys.
No, you don't.
Unfortunately, I don't think that bee actually does anything. But down goes the moth nonetheless.
And the bee is nonplussed that the moth is gone, it looks like.
All right, with that is another crystal for Synack, and we're running in through Misery Mire for Lavan.
Stop shaking the stage, please.
I'm sorry.
Why are you so? Why do you have so much nervous energy? Did you think you might have forgotten something? Anyway.
All right, Flute on Ped. Is it gonna be a thing today?
All right, get your hypes in chat, folks. We're gonna see what is hiding on the pedestal for Synack, and I make things go triple boom for player 1. That's 3 bombs for the other player.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and let's do some fun things.
Let's see if I successfully set up this
All right,
this funky glitch.
all right. Perhaps we're gonna see some spooky happenings on our screen.
I actually don't know if I'm in the flute mode.
And there we have some spooky actions on Lavan's side.
Except for I didn't need to hit that switch.
Oh. Didn't actually do it, so there we go. But that, for those of you saw there, that's something called the spooky action glitch, which I don't fully understand, so I won't dare to try to explain it. But because of the certain actions they did, we're able to use the fire rod to hit a switch that is not in the same room that we are. Because thanks to but though still being on the same super tile. All right, here we go. And with those silver arrows, this Vitreous fight should be not much of a factor at all. Just one silver arrow per small eyeball and 2 into the large one. As the meme of Zelda bosses comes through here, is just instead of just having a big weak spot of eyeball, how about just being a literal pile of eyeballs? And with that, just the small key there, and that's the end of Misery Meyer. And with that, now that is the other of their 5-6 crystals. So it looks like we're going to be making a visit to that Pyramid Fairy.
It looks like it.
I had the other 5-6 crystals. It was Ice and Eastern.
Okay. Just undercut me.
I will.
All right, meanwhile, we're going to make our way through Ice Palace for Synack. And looks like Lavan is heading back in to check some more item locations, hoping they did not have to come back soon. It looks like we are potentially setting up to have to see that cutscene chest on the Firelock side of Misery Meyer. The blue boomerang can be found in the Palace of Darkness in Player 1's world. That's a good hint. That's a hint.
That is indeed a hint.
Not getting the quick setup on the Stalfos Knights. Is it 9 bombs? 8 bombs? It's difficult to read from this angle.
It's 8.
All right, so there's plenty of bombs to set up the infamous Ice Palace bomb jump. And with that, there's the blue boomerang for Lavan.
The best boomerang.
I will continue to disagree, but that's fine.
You can continue to be wrong. It's fine.
Indeed. I find myself to be wrong quite often, so it's okay. All right, making the way through the left side. There's 300 rupees. Still trying to avoid that cutscene chest.
I've got both the items. I'm out of here.
Aha. But unfortunately, you have to walk.
I do. I didn't realize, I didn't think about that when I went and killed Vitreous, that I have to walk.
Unless, of course...
Actually, wait a second. I can't do anything else here. Why am I still here?
Yeah, saving and quitting probably is a good
It's
idea.
probably going to be faster
I was
than
going to
going
say,
out
yeah,
to
so
where I
unless you have
can't
to
do
walk
anything.
out and then save and quit.
Save
Yeah.
and quit.
Because you have to get to the light world. That's the only way. Because we still need a mirror for you. And there's the Ice Palace big key.
What was that skeleton doing on Synack's screen? He was just like with his sword.
That's
He's
what
like-
they do when they first spawn. They come down and they go, "I have a sword. I'm threatening," and then they bounce around because.
To be honest, I don't even pay attention to them in this room.
I
They just don't
either.
exist.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of a nuisance more than anything else. But the Stalfos Knights actually like threaten with their swords and then just go woo, woo. All right, there's just $5 there in that room in Ice Palace. Moving on, we're gonna see what is in King's Tomb for Lavan. Still looking for a mirror. Still looking for the flute. One item missing from both players, and. Let's see here. Looking through us.
I'm running out of checks again.
Now, Lavon is running out of checks, and there is potential for GT to be holding on to. If the book turns up for Lavon and gives him access to Desert Palace, Ganon's Tower could very well be holding that flute or the mirror. As we see that Swamp Palace is a pendant
Big
on
Ice-T has an
Lavon's
item.
screen.
So Lavon gonna go dig for an item.
Shovel dash. Yes! Best item dash in the game.
$20.
Shoutouts to Shovel Dash. They're a lot of fun. One of my favorite BK mode activities is shovel dashing the entire haunted grove.
Now getting a 5 on one target in an archery game, that's a good time. That's a great way to spend BK mode.
Alright, and there is the magic powder finally paid off for Lavon, so they can go ahead and make their visit to the magic bat.
No point. I got a hint about it.
Oh, that's right, he did. Yeah, I saw it.
That's
like,
unfortunate.
It's like, what, $5, I think?
Yeah, I think it was $5.
But I mean, if you run out of other things to do, it's at least a thing to do.
It's true.
Unless we decide to take away our gentleman's agreement of not glitching.
I mean, maybe.
Said, it's like I said previous, if we're playing a lot of these multi-worlds casually, it's no glitches until it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Once you run out of things to do, those glitches, screen wraps, and teleports, and overworld glitches definitely become much more attractive than sitting around and doing actually nothing. And here we are into the cold stare fight for Synack as we pick up the big red bomb for Lavon. Going ahead and pulling up their fire rod and trying to put those cold stare puffs in the corner. Does eventually take that hit from the falling ice chunk. There's one puff, there's two puffs, and there's three. With that, we gain access to a small key, and we're gonna grab another crystal and head out the door.
So as mentioned earlier, this game is pretty busted, and other than this gentleman's agreement, there is nothing actually stopping either of these runners from already going into Ganon's Tower to do checks if they wanted to.
Absolutely. There's a fairly easy to set up a screen wrap to get into there if you have access to the boots and hookshot. It can be done otherwise, but it's a lot more
you have the
difficult.
sword too. But yeah, they have all, and since they both have all of those items, they definitely
All right, so
can.
with that,
check it.
that's Pyramid Fairy. And I think
I need a crown.
let me
Give him the
boy.
gold crown, yeah.
No.
Well, I got a lot of stuff
Do not
open.
move.
Like, I could go through a vast majority of Turtle Rock right now.
All right, so with that, how about we join him?
Yep. Why not?
Go ahead and put your feet up and just kind of wait for things to maybe happen.
I'm just gonna go collect all of these items that I left sitting on the ground, like the crown.
Yes. Unfortunately, these things are designed to be put on children's heads and not on grown men's heads with headsets on.
And a lot of hair. Yeah.
There we go. I think that kind of hooked in there.
I
No
don't have a
book.
book.
And the final pendant is locked behind his missing mirror. Go ahead and collect that heart piece they decided not to grab earlier.
Yeah. I'm just gonna wander around Hyrule for a while. It's gonna be fun.
Go for a magical mystery tour, lift LavanFirestorm. Meanwhile, Synack making their way over to the Pyramid Fairy. Gonna see what is hiding in this crack of the pyramid. When that big red bomb event, or slightly larger red bomb, I mean, it's kind of inflamed, if anything else. Not really all that big. As we're gonna see what our free bottle fill is from the Pyramid Fairy. Now these are unique to each unique fairy does have a chance to fill something different. But then we find out it's just more bees.
Bees?
Are they good bees?
No, not even that.
You can you actually shell from that, or do you have to open it up?
I
I think
it-
you have to open it up in the menu.
Oh, it is
Yeah,
creepy.
it was a good beat. Yeah,
Eh.
you can't actually see what it is until you actually loot it. Look at it. You know, Synack receiving that piece of heart that was neglected earlier.
Oh no, of course not.
I can't.
I can.
I don't think Synack has.
Nah.
Also have not, I don't believe it, like, it's looking over kind of a memory of checks they haven't been to. They haven't been to the K45, which they're heading to now. I don't believe they've done the Graveyard Ledge either.
I did Graveyard Ledge.
You did? Okay.
Yep.
All right,
Did remember that.
So oh, there's another $1. Oh, no, wrong person. All right, making our way up toward the up Super Bunny Cave. Walk up the
Walk of
stairs.
shame.
Walk back down. You can actually go right back down the stairs, and it resets the blocks.
Eh.
I'm gonna dig this bunch of rupees back up.
And we dig, and we dig,
I
and
mean,
we dig.
300 rupees is 300 rupees, so
They have over 2,000 combined.
you can never have too many rupees, though.
I mean, if we want to start doing some major glitches, lots of money is helpful. Though we already have seen one YBA from Lavan, perhaps we could see more.
If I'm lucky, this is Quake. No, it's
And
not.
that's the Ether Medallion.
That is Ether Medallion. Actually, did I get a look at Floaty Island?
I don't remember seeing your floating island.
I don't think so either.
All right, here we are through Hookshot Cave. And there we get to see some Zelda ASMR.
It's such a satisfying sound. Even though the thing's already open, I don't care.
It is such a satisfying sound. And I don't believe you had the hammer the first time you came through here.
I did, I just didn't have the boots.
Ah. There's $20 there. All right, Synack making their way over to where the exit is.
What happened there?
I'm kind of curious myself.
Yeah, I
Did you
didn't.
forget how to press A?
Oh, I pushed A. Felt like it froze for a second. Or maybe I'm just being bad. Oh well.
Shoutouts to Cuckos.
The dulcet sounds of the cuckoo.
Yep, it's a good sound.
And what we have here on the floating island? Just a heart container. All right,
Let's
moving on.
check K45 first.
Yeah, I think we should head over to Cave 45, the earlier sphere, before we dive into Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Lavala heading back to Link's house, and we'll see what they've got up their sleeves.
I'm getting close to. I'm getting close to just going to Desert Palace.
But which way? There are a few ways to go ahead and get your way inside.
There are.
There's that shovel spot, 20 rupees. Meanwhile, Synack has to make their way up to that Dark World portal
Gotta do that first. That's important.
in order to be able to mirror into the light world. Typically, you need to start in the Dark World.
Yeah.
Though there is inverted mode where you start in the Dark World and you actually mirror from light to dark. It's an entirely different game mode, which has to be played a lot. You are potentially looking at some lower percent plays than you would, or lower equipped plays that you normally went to. Like shoutouts to 3 Heart Hammer Blind, for example. All right, so with that, Lavan is going to go ahead and visit the Mad Batter.
And whose $5 is it?
I think it was $5. It might be something else, but I think it was $5.
How dare you wake me from my slumber? Today I shall curse thee with.
$5. Oh, no, it's a shield.
Ah,
Maybe it was Synack
Oh,
that was a
cool.
shield or $5 or something.
He's got his dinner plate, and wouldn't you know it, somebody's flute
Thanks.
was in Cave 45.
It was, but it was Synack's flute because Lavan already had it.
Yep. Oh, you're right. Return!
Oh, it fell off again? I didn't even
No,
know.
he took it off because he thought it was.
Oh,
your flute.
okay.
No, that's my flute.
I'm bad.
So I'm going to show you what a well-programmed game this is. Maybe. Maybe I'm going to show you what a well-programmed game this is.
And we're going to pretend we can hear the national anthem for a sec.
Wrong way.
As the duck is, as you say, the duck is amok, the goose is loose once again.
The grouse
there
has been
are-
espoused.
There are 2 Chacks and Keck. Let's go ahead and do those first.
And what's this? We're on top of the wall. How
Yeah.
did we get here?
Magic. I did not want to transition that way. That does not work very well.
You appear to have found your way over towards Eastern Palace.
Yeah. You know, it's fine.
All normal. Definitely planned.
Totally planned.
Now I'm routing this terribly.
Be careful.
And thing to note is that's more or less how you would, like a series of events like that is how you get into Ganon's tower without all of the crystals.
Definitely a play that could be done if you want to set it up as so.
I'm going to go spend some time with one of my favorite people.
Me?
No, cross product.
Oh.
Shoutouts to Cross Product.
Don't set me up with that chick from Stevestown. I'm not interested in a blind date.
Oof.
And $50.
Life, love, happiness. The question you should really ask is, was this generated by Stoops Alu or Stoops Jet? Shout out to puns. They hurt. All right, here we are with that Smith check.
You know, here's the problem. There's no bartender. I guess I'll just take one of these. Okay. Oh, those are arrows. I'm like, oh, I got a thing. Nope. That's not the
Shoutouts to
thing.
Bread. Down goes the crown.
Ugh.
And Synack heading
Oh,
over
we've got
to
some
Meyer.
donations. Please go ahead.
Yes.
Shout outs to those donations. Get those in. We are still facing that bid war for the save or kill the nailsmith. All right, with that, we found that Lavan is now got their single arrow, as well as 10 more on top of it, as they watch intently to see if perhaps the end of BK mode is in sight.
Indeed.
I mirror over here into this cave, which contains a checkerboard of blocks, so it's called Checkerboard Cave. And we see inside just $300. Looking at it, looks like we will see a dive into Misery Meyer here in just a moment.
That crown looks lovely on you.
I know. Oh, I see. You're just going to clear your game because you're in go mode. I see. That's what you're doing.
No.
He's checking things. Eventually,
Yeah.
we may find our escape here from
mean-
BK.
So there's this. Eastern boss doesn't have an item. So I'll go do
T-Rock.
that at some point.
T-Rock.
Yeah, there's T-Rock.
We've got a lot of Turtle Rock, and unfortunately, we know that the pedestal is junk.
I figure
Perhaps
at
EG?
least clear crystals.
Yeah.
Looking for items.
EG would be fun to show off.
I actually don't know how to purposely go into EG.
There's a really easy setup in Hyrule Castle.
Oh, you don't know how to EG? Like purposefully?
Not on purpose. I do it on accident sometimes. But
Yeah, it's like there's one of those.
Go to the left side of Hyrule Castle, jump off the ledge, and save and quit while you're still falling. Then just take damage when you come back and you're in EG. goes ahead and pulls the dam to get the Uncle Bombs there.
Well, so that key placement in Meyer would be really great if I didn't have to do anything else in here.
Unfortunately, you do, because we need to find that mirror.
Allegedly, at least.
I mean, need is a strong word.
Just one item.
And unfortunately, just resets that clipping they're off to. Alright, clearing away deeper into Misery Mire as we continue to try to set up some overworld glitches on LavanFirestorm's side, trying to make our way into Cave 45. That was interesting.
Yeah.
And all for $20.
Well, I know it can't be a piece of progression.
I said that, like...
Right, because you're locked, here's your BK, yeah.
That's why I'm getting it. I'm like, I know it can't be anything.
At this point, the only only the progression that we're looking for is your mirror, correct?
Or book.
Or book.
Book would do it too?
I've got 2 options, yeah. I just need to get in the desert.
Desert Palace needs to be a thing. Making our way over to the desert here. Now we're going to see Checkerboard Cave.
See, this is a very well-programmed game. You can't clip into anything.
There would be the fun in that.
Yes, there is indeed a warp to the Triforce room that can be done near the Magic Bat Cave. So the true 80% run is just over a minute. It's kind of disgusting, actually. Vaughn going ahead and swimming over towards Ice Palace with that a few rupees short of being able to do the true hype.
Oh, so we're going to buy some upgrades since we have nothing else to do. All right.
So one thing to note here, if you come to the Pond of Happiness where you normally get your arrow and bomb upgrades, you don't have to sit there and throw money in the pond. It's just like a shop. Unfortunately, though, it takes 1,600 rupees to buy all the upgrades to get yourself to 50 bombs and 70 arrows. The lights went down in here. All right, moving on deeper into Misery Mire for Synack as Lavan continues to upgrade their capacity.
I'm never gonna run out of ammo.
You say that, and you could just intentionally just start spraying spray and pray some arrows around the way.
Take a while. You can only have 2 arrows on the screen at a time, or is it only one?
Only
It's
one.
only
It's
one.
only
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And so Synack going into the Vitreous fight now. With them silvers, it shouldn't take very long either.
All right, Turtle Rock.
Do Eastern first.
What?
Do Eastern first. So
Just be careful. Yeah.
I mean, it's just that all you have to do is rush the boss.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Then you're just gonna collect the
Oh.
crystal.
Should I go into Turtle Rock or should I go into Ganon's Tower?
I mean, both of them could very well be the location of this
Yeah.
mirror. As Lavan seems to be walking wherever they so well please.
Oh. He went to get that item on the
that
island.
item.
Without even going into the dark world. What shenanigans do we have
I
here?
know.
Unfortunately, we do know that it does lack an item. We're just going in to go ahead and get those crystals, opening up Ganon's tower.
I abandoned this earlier. I abandoned Eastern earlier just because.
Speaking of Ganon's Tower, LavanFirestorm may have
He entered
found
Hera.
the way toward the Tower of Hera in the same kind of method you would get into Eastern. Or to get to Ganon's Tower.
Same way you get into Ganon's Tower.
Words are hard.
I'm just wandering around Hyrule right now.
Making your way down towards Triforce. Maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
Alright, so now clearing through that stealth officer, making the way through Eastern Palace back towards the Armos Knights, who know aren't holding an item, but will give them the crystal that will give them access to Ganon's Tower. 22 items locations in the basement, 5 up and above, making 27.
I forgot to go into the Dark World because I was actually going to clip it.
Oh, that's right. I grabbed the key and then died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should probably go clear the last crystal before I go to Ganon's Tower.
It's true.
Alright, so here we are going to set up what is known as a screen wrap to get our way into Ganon's Tower. Have to, while holding your sword out, gain hook speed. Jump, pull into this ledge, hold down right, adjust yourself, and walk into Ganon's Tower. Now, get your guesses in the chat, folks. Between 1 and 22 item locations is where you'll find the Ganon's Tower big key within this dungeon. Raptor, what you got?
I'm going to go with 12.
I always go for 17.
Just for that, I kind of want to check Tile Room first.
Now here we are with a left side start for Levon. Meanwhile, Synack on the right side has taken care of the Armos Knights, and we'll find them with the choice of going between Turtle Rock or Ganon's Tower.
Take your pick. I've already glitched this far. I might as well just finish it.
Here we are into the Southwest room, finding a small key, Number 4, 10 arrows. Number 5, another small key.
It's a lot of keys.
Well, there are 4 in chests in this dungeon. So this would speak towards the key logic if you ever want to look into actual Ganon's Tower key logic, which, why would you do that? Check number 6, the compass. Meanwhile, Synack is making their way into the Dark World, making their way up the mountain. Looks like they may be heading towards Turtle Rock, continuing on Levon's side, making good use of the NMG strats with that blue boomerang.
That is the reason the blue boomerang is the best boomerang. You can't do that with the red boomerang. It doesn't work.
And that was another cool trick Levon did. So if you stand on one of those blue or orange tiles while they're down and then activate a switch, when they come up, when you walk off of them, you have temporary iframes, and so you use that to walk through the spike trap.
All right, and that was check number 7, not to be the key to be found. Heading into 4 more checks here in the randomizer room. Such called that because, well, you have no reason to be here unless you're playing randomizer. Number 8, the Book of Medora. Number 9.
So my mirror is somewhere.
10 and 11, the Ganon's Tower big key.
I was 1 off, dang.
I went to go mirror.
It's probably in Turtle Rock.
Probably in Turtle Rock.
So
Should
at
I
that
go in
point,
Turtle Rock or
Levon
just
is
finish it?
able to finish the
Just
seed.
finish it? All right.
Just finish it.
All right, we can do that.
All right, so with that, we have elected that we're not going to be looking so much for that mirror unless, of course, it could just turn up here in Ganon's Tower. Anyway.
So
In the
Synack
interest
now
of getting
entering.
this done with all of the technical issues
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
getting
no-
you back to Iowa before midnight.
And we do still have one more run on this marathon, and there's still time if you're out there watching to get for that bid war, try to get a little more money for Able Gamers, and to maybe save that nailsmith. Did we have did the change with that? Did that change with the last donation, or is it still as it was? All right, so if you want to see that nailsmith save, we need to see at least $31 donated. So get your donations in. Able Gamers does great work for those of us that are not able to get to, who may not have access to video games due to our certain abilities. So please, by all means, they do some great work. Every little bit helps, even if it is $1. Alright, we're starting the Ganon's Tower climb for Levon. Meanwhile, Synack is looking for their big key. Good use of getting through those 2 mimic rooms. Now, into the Stealthforce room, we find ourselves some bombs. $20. The ice rod.
That's good to know, actually. Well, no. It
It
No,
doesn't
it really doesn't.
no. I know that it's probably in a later sphere.
But not only that, but the pedestal was dead via reading it.
Yeah, I did get intel on that.
It is indeed tile room for Synack. Meanwhile, LavanFirestorm is remembering to pull out their hookshot and taking care of Boldorm 2, and we're heading off to Agadim 2.
Welcome to The Legend of Zelda, a link to the technical difficulties.
Indeed. But shout out to the Trek crew for keeping us up and running, getting us back up in line as fast as possible. And just before we reach Agate 2, we're going to take a break and just go ahead and call out those donations.
So, it's a little trick. If you activate the cape and just like pull on something, you won't use any magic.
And go ahead and, fun fact, you can actually reflect these with the swag net, as it's called.
Not
Try
very
hard.
well.
You can actually net dash. There you go. Net dashing your reflected is the best.
That is beautiful.
There should be one more fireball for LavanFirestorm here. And there it is, and here we are off to with a date with the king of all bacon.
All right. Oh, now that we're done counting blue balls, let's count up that donation total, because while we were taking that last little sabbatical, we got a $20 anonymous donation. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you indeed, Anonymous. And meanwhile, Synack's making the climb, and meanwhile, Levon is heading off to their date
I'm
the
gonna see
big
what this
pig.
text is.
Okay.
Because I can't actually kill Ganon.
Levon's heading on his date with Desert Palace first.
Yeah. I want to see
Unfortunately,
what
yes.
this text is. Because we were talking about it earlier.
Yes.
Dingus.
Dingus.
He calls you a dingus when you reach phase 4. So fun fact, if you reach the Ganon fight before you actually complete your goal, he is invulnerable in phase 4.
But you can get to phase 4. As I will foolishly demonstrate.
It could easily happen in all dungeons if you forget it's all dungeons, or you forget Aga 1. That's a thing that can happen. You might also see a lot of that in V31 when you can actually set Ganon's vulnerable count, like the number of crystals required for him to be vulnerable to be different than Ganon's tower. You could easily open up the pyramid hole before it is prime.
Alright, let's see the text.
Got wax in your ears, I cannot die. Oh, I should probably go fix that, I guess. Apparently, voices are quiet, according to Twitch chat.
Okay.
Alright, continuing our way on through the gauntlet for Synack, as LavanFirestorm now has to go ahead and head on towards Landmolus.
So, I am really glad the item I found was the book, so that I can show off the best animation of this sprite.
The book animation of the
Yes.
dog is good. Oh man, I can't wait.
It's so
And
good.
meanwhile, I will do my favorite of my commentary memes. Take a look. It's in a book. It's Desert Palace.
Oh my gosh.
That's all right. That animation is pretty.
That-
good.
That is
That's
That's
good.
pretty hot.
That
It's-
is good.
I mean, shout outs to those sprite developers. They do some really great work for this game to increase the amount of fun things we can do to this game. Meanwhile, we get that really fun, quick kill on those whiz robes from Synack's side, as Lavan is going to go ahead and gun straight back towards to find where the big key is hiding, so they can then face off with the Multiworld. And big key in the first chest? Yes? Maybe?
No.
Nope, that's the cane of Brian. Brian, if you're out there, we found your cane.
There it is.
And it's in a location. You know, some things in life are bad. BK can make you mad. As we find out that there is a glove in Player 2's world.
No
in the
what?
well.
Nope.
No what?
Not happening.
What?
I missed the torch cycle.
Ah,
Jeez.
I thought he was just mad at me for bringing up a song.
so did I.
Well, that too. But that's whatever.
Don't grumble. Give a whistle. Meanwhile, it's time to make our way back towards the landmill with big key in hand. Just going ahead and finish off a couple more climbs for Synack here, realizing they kind of want a key. Taking the key from the pot, which is always the same unless you turn on pot customization, which is another thing you can even shuffle. So you can shuffle where the keys are hidden on the ground.
But why?
There are because sometimes there's just not enough randomization.
Is there ever enough randomization?
Perhaps when there's not enough. Who knows? Synack unfortunately did not grab their hookshot. Are we really going to see
hover?
this?
You gonna hover?
I'm going to fail at it.
Let's do it.
That means they get to fight the boss again.
Go big or go home. So yeah.
No, that's not happening. No.
All right, and down goes Lamos, gets the red boomerang, and here we are off to their date with the Big Pig. You know, Synack has to do the refight of shame here, as that hover unfortunately respawns the boss when they fail, and doesn't have the hookshot yet again.
He's choosing not to use it. Like a true professional.
Like a true cheater.
No. All right. That's it. I'm
Yeah,
done.
hookshot it this time. Yeah.
Yeah. We have a schedule to keep.
You know, Lavan is going ahead and
You
doing
gonna go kill?
some more
Wrong
shenanigans.
way.
You gonna go kill Ganon or?
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. Let's not.
All right,
try
and
that
down
today.
goes Moldorm 2. We'll go ahead and hookshot over the ledge this time. Just have to add a little bit more swag on your way up.
I tried. I just made an embarrassment of myself.
That on Lavan's side as well. Just deciding to do some overworld glitches to reach the portals that are just using the hammer. Here I are. All right, here we go. The second wizard for Synack on the left. Fight with Ganon just in a moment on your right. And that's a double. Almost had the triple there. Pretty close. And this should be set up to a nice double. Thankfully, and of course, because of blue ball, it's definitely a double. And blue ball again. But this should be the end of the fight here.
Go home, wizard.
That's it. All right, here we go. And Lavan drops in, and now we have the Ganon fight here. As you can see, our Ganon text here. What took you so long? Did Synack forget to check Uncle again? I bet he had your hook shot. He also rolled this disaster. Civ. All right, and with that, we're on to our fight with the Big Pig.
Are you aching for some bacon?
Yum, yum, yum.
He's a big pig.
You can be a big pig too.
Oi!
Christoso. All right, and shout out to Christoso and Kevin Cathcart and Bot who made this run at Midwest Speedfest possible. Shout outs. So Kevin Carcat and Christos Owen being the main developers of the Randomizer itself, and shout-outs to Bonta, who put this multi-world together that we're playing for. Here we are.
And VTorp.
And VTorp, of course.
All of the devs.
All of the devs, thank you guys so much for all that you do and allowing us to have all this fun and bringing this great community together. As we are into the third strike of Phase 3 for Lavan. Meanwhile, Synack is starting his first phase. All right, and did you find the silver arrows on a Legend Players 2 world? You bet. But we're going to go ahead and looks like we're going to set up for a torch glitch here on Lavan's side.
Oh, no.
No, what?
That's a fall.
That's a fall. I was trying to set up a triple, and I got greedy.
Yeah.
All right, here we are into Phase 3 for Synack here. So it's one more strike, and we'll find ourselves in the fourth phase, in which case we'll just need 4 silver skewers in the big pig to take him down. Did we find the silver arrows, steer sparks in Player 1's world? You bet. In fact, I'll miss, so you won't actually get one to the face. Just be careful there, and that's two skewers there. And here we are back into the refight for Lavan. There's skewer number 3 for Synack. We'll have to relight the torches in just a moment. 1's out, 2's out. There's the final swing, and into that is the silver skewer into Ganon.
And it is pig roast.
All right, get your GGs in chat, folks. Just a 1x3 bridge, so that separates Synack between now and the end of this seed. And Synack finishes at 2:16:41. Lavan will be just behind her as we enter Phase 3 for Synack. Triforce telling us this run at Midwest Speedfest is brought to you by Sprecher
Root Beer. It definitely is.
All right, and with that, LavanFirestorm is into the third phase again. One more strike. If Ganon would just hold still, thank you so much. Did you find the silver arrows? You bet. Can we have one to the face this time? Looks like are we getting another triple setup? Unfortunately, missing the torch glitch there.
It ate my input.
Yummy, yummy inputs.
What?
You okay?
Kind of disagree with that video game. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
lie.
not sure
Video
what-
game
You have a
is-
potion.
I do. I also have a fairy.
Oh, okay.
He wouldn't live up. He has to live up to the name after all. That'll be another single
Yeah,
there.
I can't get a triple out of that.
And the lights went out again. And that's a setup for a double. And with that, those are the final 2 silver skewers in the Ganon. Get those GGs and applause in chat, folks. We're just about to the end of this seed. Just a 1x3 bridge, all that separates LavanFirestorm between now and the end. And with that, crossing the bridge, we have time. That's 2 hours, 18 minutes, 18 seconds. So that's the end of this Randomizer Multi-World Co-op showcase for you. Congrats, you have recovered the baguettes and pesto. GG's, everyone. Thank you so much. Shout outs to the Link to the Past Randomizer community. Check out the Discord. Check out alttpr.com. Shout outs to Bonta. And thanks, Synack and Lavan, for having me on. So thanks, guys.
Rock.
It was all right. So we did get intel. The magic mirror was in the Turtle Rock laser bridge.
So shout outs to Laser Bridge for having the items we need. And with that, please stay tuned for that 100% Hollow Knight run by Mickley. It's going to be a lot of fun, and there's still time potentially to save that Nailsmith.
All right, my bonk count was 37.
37. All
So
right.
$37 I'll be donating.
Yeah, that Nailsmith donation. It's I don't know what happened. A couple bids. It's real close now. So if you want to get that Nailsmith saved, it's like a $6 donation now. I know it was looking daunting before, but you can sneak a donation in and keep that bid war tight.
All right.
And I definitely want to say thank you guys for allowing me to do some commentary here with Bungie. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's definitely a good time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You guys did a good
So
job.
if nothing else, guys, grab your crowns. Synack? Lavan? Synack. I guess there's only one thing left to do.
Maybe. Okay.
How many deaths did you have? Yeah, 0 deaths.